Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Jedi Knights Watch. Today's video is going to be tips for Hot Toys collectors. As a newer Hot Toys collector, I found myself asking a lot of questions and having to search around the internet to find each specific answer to my question. So I wanted to make a video for you guys that kind of goes over some of these questions that I had. And I think this video is good for Hot Toy collector beginners and those seasoned collectors, so stay tuned. So most of us collectors already know that we should keep our figures out of sunlight for fear of fading the paint and clothing. And we should keep them in a cool, dry place as well. But a lot of us don't know how to necessarily care for the figure in terms of clothing or cleaning and conditioning the pleather articles of clothing. So that was one of my biggest questions too. What you'd probably want to do is get yourself a display case to put your figures in, kind of like I have back here. I have put some weather stripping in these bad boys to kind of reduce some of the dust that gets in there. So it's going to keep your figures from getting dusty and having to go in and clean them. If you have them out, you know, you might just want to have canned air or possibly just a microfiber rag without anything on it and just wipe down your figures. But the question is, what do we do with those figures that have the pleather clothing? So I've had the Crow figure, the Terminator. There are some other figures that have just pleather belts or, you know, accessories that you also have to keep in mind, because over time it's going to crack, it's going to peel, it's not going to look as good, it's going to dry out. So after looking for videos, after doing some research, the thing that I have been using is this faux leather cleaner and conditioner. You can buy this stuff on Amazon. It's fairly cheap. It's under $10. It's a 2-in-1 formula. It extends the life of your faux leather, removes dirt and stains, and cleans and protects. So it restores softness and shine to your faux leather products while protecting against premature aging. So again, I don't know if this is going to be the end all, that it'll just stop your figures from peeling altogether. I've only been using it for a few months. But basically what you want to do is get yourself a bottle of this and a microfiber cloth that you would use for cleaning eyeglasses. And you would spray the rag and get it wet, and then wipe down any areas that have a pleather material. This could be coats, shirts, belts, holsters, anything that's pleather. It'll soak into the material, restoring the look and giving it a nice shine. It'll also prolong the material and reduce any cracking and fading and peeling. However, keep in mind, you do have to keep your figures in a cool and dry place. The next thing is to know which figures you can leave in dynamic poses and which ones you should not. A lot of the action figures, the Supermans, the Spider-Mans, their outfits do not hold up well when it comes to bending and stretching. Museum pose will typically help the figure and outfit last longer. So know which figures can handle long-term dynamic poses and which ones can't. What you want to look for is, especially in the Superman figure, in the elbows and in the boots, the ankles. That's where the creases, if you leave it there for a long time, it's going to possibly rip or, you know, break. So what you can do is use dynamic poses for doing photography, or if you want to have them like that for a couple weeks. But you know, when you're sticking in with long term, when it's in that position and the material's creasing like that, eventually it's going to tear or wrinkle or stretch, something along those lines. So while museum pose may not always be the most exciting or attractive, it can prolong the life of your figure. So just know which ones you can and which ones you cannot keep in a dynamic pose for long term. Watch videos, do some research before buying the figure, and then you should have a pretty good idea. The next thing that I want to talk about is how to pose your figures without the bases. Some of these figures will stand on their own, but you do run the risk of, if a child bumps into the toffs or they fall some way or another, you know, you're going to have probably a broken figure. So you want to reduce that. And what we have here is, it's clear museum gel, and it says that it's for securing glass and crystal. Basically, you can take a little bit out of this jar and put it on the bottom of the feet, and it'll stick to the glass. And I've seen this work. I haven't used this yet because most of mine are on felt, but this is going to be something that I use very soon. It is reusable, so if you take it off, put it back in, you can use it later as well. but I have seen this stuff work. There was a collector that did a video on this, and can't remember his name right now, but he showed that it worked really well. Great way to keep your figure standing and from falling over. I have bought a figure recently that when I opened it up, good condition and everything, but it reeked of smoke. And that's one of the collector's worst nightmares. I did a lot of research on this, did some trial and error. I tried leaving the figure outside for a good portion of the day to let the air kind of do its thing and work through the figure. I also put the figure in a Ziploc bag with baking powder for a couple days. It may have helped a little, but the smell was still very much there. So again, I thought that was going to work because I've used that in carpet for odors. I've used it in other things, but it didn't work with this. And I did not put it directly on the figure. I put it in a dish in a Ziploc bag and let the figure sit in there. Didn't work. So I tried dryer sheets. I put about 3 of these in a Ziploc baggie with the figure and the cape and whatever else smelled. Left it in there for 3 or 4 days, took it out, and it smelled great. It smelled like the bounce sheets. And it still does not carry a smoke smell to this day. So that worked. I also, because the box smelled too, I put 3 dryer sheets in the foam box and around the accessories to help with the smell for that too. So if you do have figures that you buy secondhand that you see they smell like smoke, instead of returning, try using the dryer sheet and it could save your life. Alright, next thing is customizing your Hot Toys figures to bring them more to life. So a lot of this starts with capes, custom capes, wired capes, draping capes. So I like collecting figures that have some capes, as you can probably see. Some of them don't drape the nicest. It seems like they kind of just throw one together and they're very lightweight. They don't drape well. They kind of just hang out. Not very natural. So start with a custom cape. There's a couple guys that make capes online. I use Unreal Customs. Go through Facebook or Instagram. You can contact him, get prices, see what he does. My Batman vs Superman, Batman has a custom cape. It makes the character come to life and is really, really great. I also ordered a custom draping cape for my Dark Knight Rises Batman as well. I have started customizing my DX12 Batman from the Dark Knight Rises because there are some problems with the figure, like the neck is a bit too long and the eyes seem to be too big because there's not enough black paint around the eyes. So what I did was I took the neck off and I sanded a couple millimeters off and then opened the neck, took out the piece that holds the neck ball joint just so that the head would sit lower on the shoulders. I then took black acrylic paint and had a steady hand and painted around the eyes very carefully, and it made a huge difference. There's a bunch of other customizing you can do with other figures. I haven't dug too much into that, but I would suggest looking at YouTube, looking online to see other customizing jobs that you can do. Some of you probably like your stock, so this isn't something you have to do, but the cape is obviously reversible, so at least start with a custom cape and make your figure pop. So the last thing I want to talk about is just saving some money while still collecting. You can buy your figures on eBay, but Hot Toys tend to go up in price, or at least hold their value. They don't ever really go down. So you're probably gonna, the longer it sits, the more you're gonna pay for it. So I would recommend pre-ordering your Hot Toys whenever possible. Obviously, if you miss out on a Hot Toy that is aftermarket and you can't find anywhere else, you're gonna have to pay the secondhand market. But if you go to Sideshow and pre-order ahead of time, this will allow you to save your money and pay for the figure when it comes out. Or since they're usually a year or two out, you can use that time to save your money, or you can set up a payment plan until that figure comes out. Keep in mind on Sideshow, I actually found this out from Jetta Patrol just recently, that if you do a payment plan, you are likely to get leapfrogged by those that are paying outright for when the figure comes out. If you still owe like 1 more month payment, those that are just paying it off jump ahead of you in line, so you may get delayed and have to wait even longer for your figure. So I would assume when you have 1 more payment or 2 more payments, just pay both of them at the same time, or pay the figure off like a couple months before the figure comes out, just so that you're not waiting even longer for the figure to get to you. Last but not least, guys, collect what you like and make sure that you're not just buying something because you got a good deal, or buying something on a whim, because space is limited with these guys. They're expensive, and you want to collect what you like. So just keep that in mind. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys learned something on this video. Hopefully you can take some of these tips and put them in your collection. Give us a like and subscribe, and don't forget to ring the bell so you're notified when we have new videos coming your way. Take care, stay safe, and we'll see you soon. Goodbye.